Today we are honored to welcome Gary Lill to the show today. I'm very excited about this because chronic pain is such a huge topic. It's something that most people are quietly suffering in, and we seemingly don't have a way out, right? So I'm very grateful to have a specialist on the show today to really kind of shed some light on this because someone who's been through it themselves, someone who has a story, they really have a purpose driven orientation, right? And that's what I look for. So I'm very grateful to have you on the show and to hear your story. How you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you, Anthony, and it's great to be on the other side of the world. We're just talking about we're on the other side of the world. I'm here in Australia, and 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's very, very exciting to be here to share the message that, as you say, that it's gripping a lot of people around the world.
100%. So, what is your story? How did you get in the chronic pain place, and how are you serving people today?
Um, One of the things that's a big question. One of the things that I've been back, probably the biggest thing that started me in this journey is back when I was going to school and when I was really young. The what gave me the insight into what I do and what I stand for. Um, I don't think I've shared this on any podcast. I had a hearing problem when I was at school, and I lost the fundamentals of reading and spelling. And so, going through years of schooling, you think you get ridiculed and bullied, and obviously not as much the way bullying is now, but you really try to find out how am I going to get around this situation. And I didn't realize, I thought I was dumb, but I realized I lost the fundamentals of reading and spelling. And so, one of the things that going through schooling, looking at how am I going to get around without being embarrassed at spelling exams. So that gave me the insight into looking at something, a situation, and looking on the outside and looking at how we're going to get around that. Then I left the industry. I played semi-professional rugby league with my brothers, and I was always in their shadow. So I had to burn to do something, and I had that insight into looking at a situation and how am I going to get around it. Then I left the school, and I got into my first course I did as a massage therapist, and the anatomy of passing the anatomy and physiology. It was very, very heavy, the exams and knowing all the anatomy. I had a struggle with spelling, and I had a oral exam, so that got me in there. So I got into the industry, and I realized because of that mindset, every single course from that day, I asked questions and lecturers and teachers, but what about this? And they all say, but just pass the course, and it's a good question, just pass the course and go and do whatever you want to do. So that gave me the insight into not knowing what I know now. I realized that the industry is treating symptoms, and they don't know why we got here and how to get out of here. And I mentioned to you before, when I work with people with pain, well, how'd you get here? And one of the things that no one knows, and I've worked at the top level sport, and traveled and been in this industry over 35 years, and well, like if I say to people, if you land in a city and you go to your hotel and you want to walk to a shopping centre, and once you walk to that shopping centre, generally you'll know how to get back to your hotel. But if you go to that shopping centre with an Uber, you'll generally won't know how to get back to your hotel. So the point is, we have to know how did we get here, and that's one of the things that I teach and empower people to get back to a pain-free life.
Love it, man. That makes a lot of sense because if we don't know how we got to where we are, we can't expect to know where we're going, right? So it's very important to shed awareness on that.
Yeah, yeah. And just on that, Anthony, one of the things that um, and have the fortune enough to work with some world's elite athletes, and even at that top level, we don't know how to get back there, and we're so focused on MRIs and scans and pain symptoms, and I've done workshops, and I say, well, why they got a disc. We don't even know why we got a disc problem. We don't even know why a muscle's tight. We don't even know why a muscle's weak. And yet the whole therapy go round is 100% treating a symptom. 100% treating a symptom. And that's one of the reasons why we are in a position we're in. And because we don't know how to get back to a pain-free life, we just accept the therapy go around treating those symptoms. And the point that I realized going through years of chasing this down, and the origin of our pain is our emotional body. How we interact with stress. We think stress is bad for you. We'll just take stress away from you. You die. One of the things that I teach, the best relationship and the most important relationship that we're going to have in our life, behind ourselves, a relationship with ourselves, is the relationship with stress. And that's what I teach.
100%, man. Why is it that we're just focused on symptoms? Like, how do you think that all started?
When you come from the right place, Anthony, you ask all the right questions. Um, what my personal opinion is that the sick care industry, you go back right through the whole health industry, people, and some thousands and tens of thousands of people out there that get into the industry because they got hearts in a great place and want to help people just like yourself. But we conditioned that we need to get a piece of paper, a qualification. We need to learn something. And so it's driven by our mindset. It's driven by how big businesses cope. You look at the medical industry, you look at the pharmaceutical industry, you look at government. They are all driven on making their job important. So it comes from the highest level, and you look at the education system, and there's zero common sense in the university degrees and in colleges, which I've done a lot of training and different courses in. There's no common sense, and we're so focused on treating symptoms, and that generates money. It's all driven by money.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Like, there is no common sense a lot of times. We're kind of like so like driven by other things. It's like when we actually focus on serving people, like the answers seem to come
Mm-hmm.
much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can you define what chronic pain is? Because a lot of people we may not know what it is exactly, like, or if we're actually experiencing it.
Yeah, one of the things that I feel that and very confident about, especially with the results I get, and one of the things that, because it's physical, Anthony, we think it's a physical problem. And so if we go back to just common sense, you look at, I usually have a disc, I haven't got it here, a disc, and everyone's focusing on the bulging disc, or we go and get an MRI. Just generally, majority of people have back pain, and so this same principle applies to whether you got sciatica pain, whether you got knee problem, hip problem, migraines, whatever. And it just astounds me. We go to if someone comes to me I used to be working in a clinic and have my own clinic. They used to come in and say, I've got a neck problem. Well, and some people don't even tell me they've got a knee problem because they think it's two different things. And one of the things that I find it ironic that specific people work in specific pain symptoms on the body. But the thing is, when you get to the root cause of the problem, it is the same at origin. And whether you're neck pain, bulging disc, or meniscus tear, if it's not been torn, obviously, but knee pain or ankle pain, shin splints, whatever. So our bodies are made up of over 600 muscles, and one of the things that we have an emotional body and a physical body. You cannot separate those two; they are one. And what we do, we even separate it just in the two words, mind and body. They're separate, but they're not. So our emotional body governs our physical body. It's not the other way around. So emotions cause a contraction within the muscle tissue, and energy moves around in the body, determining on how much physical stress we have in the body and how much emotional stress on top of that will create a pattern in the body. So, for example, lower back pain is to do with tight quads. It rolls the pelvis forward, cause compaction into the L4 and L5. So it all is to do with unhealthy stress muscle that's crushing your body, and depending on where that stress pattern is, it depending on the name tag, and that's what we get caught up into, the name tag, and that's a very, very dangerous road to go down to. And like you look at orthopedic surgeons, so you got a bulging disc on L4 and L5. Well, not one orthopedic surgeon can tell you why you got a bulging disc. Not one. Yet they go and chop it away. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people have surgery, and it's not real good. And the stat with just like from what we put faith in, and if you ask 100 orthopedic surgeons, would they have spinal surgery, and there's only one out of 100 will have surgery. And yet we go in so easily because we're at the end of the road because of so much pain. So did that, I kind of answered that.
Wow, that's incredible. Like, we have all these symptoms that we're trying to treat, but it sounds like emotions are a huge part of that. For any skeptics that may be listening in, like, do we have any data around that to kind of like show how that works?
Yeah, we all know. You just look up, put in anything stress related, hypertension, and every disease. The core to any disease is stress, and so there's plenty of stress. There's plenty of research out there, and one of the things that just on research, I did a thing on my social media thing about stress and research, and I get some people contact me through my social media, through TikTok, and that's where I'm mainly on. They say, "Where's your research?" And so when we look at research, majority of research is based on coming from a symptom. So we got a symptom, and yet we try to do research to try and get rid of the symptom. Look at cancer. We're spending hundreds of trillions of dollars over the years trying to get rid of cancer. Why don't we find what's caused cancer? Why don't we find what's caused a disc problem? We don't even know that, and so if we go down the wanting data, and there is data there, and we get sucked when we're looking totally for research, we're getting sucked into the system, because you look at all research, they're all based on you got this symptom, and research says if you take this pill or you stand on your head, it gets rid of this symptom. But why do you have your symptom? And stress has the greatest impact on, more than, from my experience and what I've seen with clients, it has more of an impact than what we put in our mouth. Because we take supplements, we do all this very high-end looking at analysis of what we're lacking, toxicity, and high-end research on our human body. But the thing is, what is governing the deficiency, the toxicity, the stress in our body just has massive impact. It changes everything. And so if we learn how to have a good relationship with stress, and that's what I teach, and I'm so excited about the understanding. It's just awareness of how we interact with the outside world and how we have a relationship with stress. Majority people with a relationship with stress, it is a very, very toxic and a very dysfunctional relationship. And one of the things the biggest thing I love teaching is stress is a byproduct of an event. We make up stress. And this is research. 80% of stress in our lives, guess where it comes from? We've created it. Because if you have an event, whether it's an argument with your spouse or whatever it is, sexual abuse, whatever it is, we have a story to that event. And one thing that generally, because society has programmed us, we become a victim. And when we become a victim, we become disempowered. And that's when we have zero resilience. We have an epidemic on mental health because we've got no strength. We've got no, and that's the biggest problem. We've got no resilience on a conflict. And yet the conflicts in our lives are our greatest gift if we look at it in a healthy way. And just finish off here, if we look at when we go to the gym, everyone goes to the gym now. Everyone walks, everyone rides a bike, everyone does some kind of exercise, and we get on the bandwagon of all these therapists and exercise therapists and say we need to move more. We don't move compared to what we used to. Well, I don't know what kind of page you're on, because I've seen gyms are on every corner around where I live, and I've travelled, and the fitness industry is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. There's more people out there in Lycra walking around in their walks and stuff, and yet pain is still going through the roof. And people say narratives to keep their story going. And so one of the things that we just need to learn and stop and dissolve and learn how to interact with stress and how to build resilience and look at conflicts as our greatest gift. And that's when we'll find our greatest self, and that's when pain will dissolve completely, gone out of your body. There's a lot of stuff in
Love
it.
that, man. Yeah, sounds like yeah, stress is a huge factor. There's two scientists actually that talk about it's psychoneuroimmunology,
Yes,
psychoneuroendocrinology, like directly impacts how our thoughts and emotions they impact our endocrine system
yes,
or hormonal
yeah,
system and our nervous system.
yeah,
So that's huge.
yeah, yeah. And Anthony, one of the things when we understand just the basic common sense principles, like that, you look at the things that's really really causing us, and we need to go and we need. Excuse me. I just had a hiccup. One of the things that we need to go back and look at the challenging things in our lives, past and present, and look at how we looked at them, and is it true, and then change the narrative with that. I've got people that go into this whole process physically and emotionally, drop physical and emotional stress out of their body. Their pain is annihilated. I mean, gone. I'm talking about people with crumbling spine of a 49-year-old, and she was told she had a crumbling spine of a 70-year-old. I've stopped people. There's people work with me that's booked into their third back operation. In 2 weeks, they're completely pain-free. Once you decrease the stress and the shortening in the muscle tissue, all the symptoms will drop away. Because if your muscle is supposedly for a 30 centimeters long, for example, and it is stress and it's 20 centimeters that is going to cause a major problem. That is exactly what's causing physical pain. Whether it's whatever name tag you put onto it, whether it's you just look at the name tags. Some of them they just throw name tags as golfer's elbow, and tennis elbow, or you've got spondylolisthesis. That sounds really, really big and really, really important. They are all name tags. And the name tags generally are to do with a stressed muscle tissue, series of stress in the body, whether it's pain all over the place. It is the intensity of the stress is all over your body, or it's in parts, and depending on the situation, physical and emotional interaction, and everyone's different as well. So, and we're the only ones that can turn all that around, and that's why we mentioned about talking about going back and looking at how did we get here. And once you know how you got there, that's when everything changes, and that's we change with
100%.
from within ourselves, and we've caused that.
Yeah, like you kind of mentioned a little bit of labels. Like I feel like how many ways they can be a relief for some people. Like we can, oh, we're finally this is what it is, right? But then on the flip side, we can start to identify with an issue. And
Hmm.
when if it becomes part of our identity, it makes it very hard to shift, right? So we can look at it both ways, like, oh, now I know what to do, or this is who I am. And I feel like when you do that, you don't really leave room for growth and change.
Absolutely. Do you know this? When you great point there, Anthony. This is a major, major problem. When you give people a label, um, that is a feed to funnel them into their practice or their conditioning of the therapy go round. Instead of giving people a label, if you got pain in the knee, instead of getting a floating patella or meniscus maybe or whatever, instead of giving a label, just say to yourself, I got a tight knee. If you got sciatica pain, you get a bit of label. I just got a tight hip and tight leg. Instead of having spondylolisthesis, I just got a tight back. If I've got a disc C1, or I just got a tight neck. It changes everything, and the label is causing everyone to be base their whole mindset. That's where we feed into a victim. And I have clients, had a clinic, and they walk out the door, and you can see them. Oh, they even say, "At least I know what I got," and that's why I left the industry. And then as soon as they say that, victim mode, then then they'll be able to fit in the therapy go round and say, "Oh, I've got this," and I have even people with on social media send me the scans, and that is an absolute rot. And when you look at MRIs and scans, there's many of research papers saying that 20% of, like, just this one, 20% of 20-year-olds have a bulging disc. 20% without zero pain. 77% of 70-year-olds have a bulging disc without any pain. So disc problems are just like grey hair. And this is all, when you look at all this, MRIs, and it's just the MRI machine will cost about $1 million to buy, and they can earn hundreds and hundreds of thousands per year. It's just a money making thing. MRIs are great when you've got serious to look at serious health issues like cancer of the spine and all these really serious diseases. But once they that's taken into consideration, I would not even look at if it's ruled out that serious disease. I would not look at what they come back with the I had someone send me an MRI report the other day from on social media, and it says all these big words that majority of people can't understand. Then at the end of the MRI report says it may be needed to have more extensive research on looking at so and so. So they're upselling their services in the report. If you can't understand, they're just drilling down to give more labels. Well, why you got problems? How did you get here? That's
Exactly.
that's where it's all at.
What you mentioned earlier is our obstacles and our challenges in our lives can become our greatest gifts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we have all these things that happen to us, essentially, but no, they're saying that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, right? And of course, not everything is our fault in our life. There's some things that happen, right? But what I like to talk about is 100% responsibility, which means that I get to decide what happens next. That's where the personal power is. That's where the agency is.
Yep.
You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, actually, this is just one of the things that and I'm in writing, in the process of writing my next book, and it's going to be a game changer. And one of the things that um, the more, when you have a destination, whatever you want to do in life, if you focus on that and move towards that, you're going to have some challenges. And those challenges are your greatest gift for you to become greater so you can get to the end result at your destination. So if we look at number one, I get people to find, especially with people with pain, they don't know, they even their whole destination or what they want in life is just they're in survival mode. And one thing that I always very strongly about, what do you want? Where do you want to go? And because you need to move out of the swamp into higher ground, so you need to have a destination. And so once we understand that the challenges that we face, whether it's doesn't matter what it is, I can guarantee if you look at it in different eyes, I guarantee you'll find your greatest gifts. Like for example, my story when I was a kid, and for me to teach what I teach, and I've never ever thought I'd be doing what I'm doing at this high level, and speaking at universities, working with professional athletes around the world, and consulting with them. But I failed at school, and that was painful. And yet, I am so grateful for that pain, because I discovered my greatest gift out of that. And so if we don't have challenges, we stay small. If we look at those challenges, like for like if we become a victim of the challenges, we become contracted. But if we look at those challenges, whether it's financial, whether it's whatever it is, those challenges there are just your thumbprint of you growing. They're specifically for you. And just like a personal trainer, you have specific goals. So the personal trainer gives you specific exercises for your goal and your body type. So if we look at stress, and we have all different stress, we're all different, because those stresses are specifically for you. But we look at them as bad, and poor me, like they're happy over there, they got a better house or whatever. If we look at, we can only change ourselves. We are on our own destination. We come into this life and we're going to go out on our own. So it's up to us to squeeze more out of life, to be able to live and expand. Life is all about growth. And when we look at the cup half empty, we're going to contract. And so this is the most simple thing to do, and yet it's the hardest thing to do. And there's no therapy around it because I'm a trained counselor, and also you look at um, like all the people that are around psychology, they're treating symptoms as well. Once you empower yourself, stress is you play with stress and you have a great relationship, and then you'll get the light bulb moments. And one thing that I say to people, there's a lot of people have conflicts with someone's done something major, whether it's sexual abuse or whatever it is, relationships or whatever it is. I say to people, and this is something that I used to say to clients, and it was very powerful. And I say to people, if people, if we take away people, majority of stress will go out of our lives. And so when I say, I understand that, but when you ask people, can you change people? And they all say, no. And I said, okay, that's true. What happens when we have an argument? What are we trying to do? Unknowingly, we're trying to change them. So what I teach people is understanding, is building that awareness of our emotional muscle before the event happens. Like we go to the gym to train for an event, then we're going to be under load. So if we build the awareness before the conflict or the event happens, we can make healthier choices. The more we build that muscle, when the event happens, we look at it to empower ourselves rather than disempowering ourselves on the event. With when you have an argument with someone, or someone pushes your buttons, and you have this awareness, you just say to yourself in your mind, because you have this awareness, I can't change them, and you got to divert that frustration or anger. And I tell clients that, and I do this myself, is call them a peanut within myself. And when you call them a peanut, you become aware that I can't change this person. But then you divert that, you back off emotionally, and you become aware of what we're in. And then we ask ourselves, what in the same conversation, whether it's I do or doing it when you're in the conflict. But when it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, a day, you go back and look at that, and the more you build this awareness and emotional muscle, you can do it when you're in real time. But when you do it in real time, and you ask yourself, when you're in that space, or whether it's an hour or 5 minutes later, or a day, you ask yourself in that conflict, this interaction with this peanut, what is the greatest gift for me to become my greater self? You ask the gift, and that change when you keep asking that, and you'll come up with light bulb moments, and instead of that interaction becomes disempowered, it becomes empowered. And that is exactly what governs the source of stress. We're so focused on getting rid of stress, and yet it is it's our life force. You try and get rid of stress, you're going to die. And so we are not taught, like, how did we get here? And how we got here is our observation. And our observation mainly on how we interact with stress. We've got the worst relationship with stress, and that's one of the reasons why we are in stress.
It's so good, man. Like, I feel like it's why it's important to stay ready so you have to get ready, in a sense. And you talked about being able to train yourself, in a sense, So then when these conflicts happen, we're actually ready to handle it in a healthy way. Do
Yes.
I have that right?
Yes. Absolutely. Anthony, I look at and I've come a long way in just observing and working with people, and even to the extent where I look at therapies, and I've been on this journey for 35 years, and we are losing the fundamentals of building ourselves because we're not looking at the opportunity to grow. Like, could you imagine going into a gym and you want to be buffed, and it's got no weight? Like, you're not going to build weight. That's exactly what we're doing in life, and we've got no resilience. So one thing that when we look at the gift in the challenge, we change the energy within our body. We process the energy and in a healthy way, and instantly, like over when that's gone, the muscle will lengthen, and pain is gone. I mean, gone. And so one of the things that what a lot of therapies do, go in, and I'm a ex Pilates instructor, and all these therapies, not one of them helps you divert and process emotions in a healthy way. What therapies do, and you look at like even meditation, you look at even yoga, you look at all these, we are not taught to process and interact with the world and other people in a healthy way. We're so conditioned, we become a victim. That is the reason why we have physical pain and emotional pain. Once we understand this, and like people say to me, like, how come no one else is teaching this? Is because people's livelihoods and because of people's mindsets. Because if we're trained, and I got a lot of qualifications, I had to throw them away because they're just pieces of paper. They're just focused on treating a symptom. Like Pilates instructor, I used to be a Pilates instructor. They tell you you got back pain because you're not activating your muscles. Well, why are they not activating? Core stability is one of the biggest scams of back pain. It's people that got back pain. You haven't got weak core. You've got stress in the body that's crushing your body. If core stability is the problem, everyone with no pain should be up and knowing and doing their exercise every morning. That's not the case. So common sense is not real common in the industry. Why is the muscle tight? Muscle stressed. Why is the muscle weak? Stressed. Why you got a disc problem? You got stressed muscles. Why you got rotator cuff? You got stressed muscles in the arms and shoulders. Why? And one of the things I've spoken at university level and been around high level sport, and when you're coming from common sense, no one can override you, because science, doesn't matter what science, and people say, I've had professors say they need to rewrite the textbooks.
Exactly, man. It sounds like how we shift our relationship with stress ultimately comes down to how we shift the relationship with ourselves and how we interact with ourselves. Like being able to build ourselves up and having the self-confidence and, being able to reduce stress and things like that can actually help us respond to it better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Anthony, I just had a client that's in my program, and I was speaking to him yesterday, and he said, Gary, I cannot believe like this guy's had pain for 35 years, and neck pain, and he can't even drive, and he's lost his job, and he didn't like his relationships and everything. His life in 6 weeks has completely changed. Not only his pain, but how he lives his life. But he didn't go to a personal development course. Everything that we're doing in society is driven by another course, another therapy, more research. But we need to just get back to common sense and look at our emotional body as same as our physical body. We need to put our physical body under load to have health. We need to put our emotional body under load to have resilience. And we build on that, and we never ever stop growing. That's what it's all about. And our teacher is not university, not therapists, not trained people. Our greatest teacher is the outside world. How we observe and how we show up, and whether we need a bit of a lift, and you're not going down the right track, so you need to nature and life is our greatest gift if we have a destination.
100%, man. Something I like to say is like, experience is our greatest teacher. Just being wise in how we observe life and how we learn and grow, asking questions. I mean, books, podcasts, seminars, all these things are great. But there's a time they didn't exist, and there's still wise people around.
Yes,
So essentially, learning from your own experience and being intentional with how you live your life.
100%. And the more I've been on this journey, and I've been driven to put a program together, and because of this, and people say, well, you got a program, so well, I got a program to disengage from all the programs and get our awareness around. We don't need majority of stuff out there. And you look at personal development, you look at Anthony Robbins, and I've just seen something on the everyone's got, you got all, like, you go to all these things, and they're great people, and they're great, but what are they doing? Are they like, if you leave nature's principles and look at it for what it is, how did we get here? And so once we know how we got here clearly, then we just go back. I don't people ask me what philosophies that I teach in my program. I teach common sense. Zero philosophies, like modalities. Sorry, modalities, and common sense. The whole program that I teach is common sense. People say that makes so much sense. So that's why I'm so passionate, and that's one of the reasons why my mission is to change the perception of pain and injury worldwide. And it's not about me. It's about individuals to look at, just wake up and have clarity. And soon as we become aware, we start to get our own ourself back. And so we're so broken, and we go down this therapy, and people got naturopaths, people got chiropractors, people got physios, people got exercise therapists, and hairdresser, the whole lot. At the end of the day, if we're happy, our whole aim is to become our greater self. And we need to take responsibility of the fundamentals of life and nature's principles. And once we take hold of nature's principles, and we really observe, they are our university. And the more we observe, the more we're going to get out of life. And getting ourselves right, then we can look at therapies like ice bars. And I love all this stuff, and organic. I love all of it. I do it myself, and I don't do. We're looking to change the chemistry in the body, but how did we get here? And we're doing all these things, and mental illness is going through the roof, physical pain's going through the roof, more breakdowns in relationships, more cancer and cardiovascular. Everything's getting worse because we've lost the fundamentals of driving our life. And so it's time to ask questions and put ourselves back in the driver's seat, and with the map of common sense.
100%. Being the greatest version of yourself every single day. That's what it's all about. And having things that can help us do that, that's so key, man. So thank you for your work. This has been awesome. I really appreciate your story and how you're helping people, because I can really tell you have a strong desire to help, because you've been through it in a sense. And you know what you're talking about with emotions, because the emotion part, I feel like it's overlooked. And stress, I feel like it's becoming more commonplace, but there's so much to it, and having it clearly laid it out is so key, man. So I thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And just Anthony, with stress is everyone's monetizing stress. They got this gadgets, they got that, and how do we get stress? It's because of our perception on an event. Once we change that, stress is gone, and no one makes money out of that. So, but it's great catching up with you, and it's always great to catch up with people that are on podcasts that are driven for the right reasons, and not like the social media aspect. And this is a major trap, and people get paid to put information out there, and this is a major trap. And you look at all these people that are, especially with physical pain, will you ask them, how did I get here? They can't tell you. They are just there to make money, and so not telling you to become your greater self. And that's one of my passions. And for the listeners, just ask more questions, take more responsibility. You don't need to have a degree to look at common sense. And so you are better than what you think you are, and you have the answers if you ask the right questions.
100%, man.
So yeah.
If people want to get connected with you and all of your work, where can they go?
So my website is just getting built as we speak, but we've got a page there, Pain Free. That's me, and I'm spent a lot of time on TikTok. Is Pain Free TM. That's the tag there. So happy to, and I do. Anyone that wants to listen to this program, go to my website and book a free half-an-hour call with me, and I'm happy to discuss common sense principles and answer any questions around their physical pain to give people back clarity.
100%. Thank you again
My
so much
pleasure.
for coming on the show and sharing all your insights with us. It's been awesome, man.
Wonderful. Great to catch you. Thank you.